Welcome to the Public Access Podcast. I am your host. My name is Rusty Diamond. This is the fifth season. This show has been going back for, I think, 10 years now. And so it's gone from anyone from comedians who gone all over to wrestlers who've gone all over to friends to now I wanted to change it some and I wanted to keep it to everyone. I wanted to keep it more to people that I like talking to more than, trying to find someone that it's like, okay, well, hey, there's this person, but I got someone that's cool. I got a cool person today. I got a person that so I found this guy a few years ago. I was living in Minneapolis and I was watching videos. Well, let's see. This was a little bit before COVID started, and I was watching some videos, and I believe I was watching dumpster diving videos because dumpster diving became something that I got into. Well, I haven't really got to do it as much, but I was watching someone named, or there's a show called Treasure Hunting with Jeebus, and I was watching that, and one of the suggested videos was this of Cincinnati Picker. And since I was born in Cincinnati, I was like, I'm very intrigued. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give this guy a shot. And this guy came through, this guy delivered, and I started watching him, and I've been watching him ever since. He has a great show, fun to watch. Yeah, we're always waiting for the next episode to drop, and we'll sit there and watch it, and it's fun to watch. So, without further ado, I want to introduce the Cincinnati Picker, John. How you doing?
What's up, buddy? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. I wanted to try to give you an all right introduction there. So, um, but yeah, so this guy, so John, so you've been picking for a while. You were doing this before. So like the way I got into picking was back when I was in high school. I don't want to date myself too much, but like I think I told you this on the phone. I found a uh some adult clips that were, I don't even know what they were. Were they dot I don't know if they were dot move or something, some clips. But anyway, I ended up getting 70 hours of adult videos, some of it black and white, some of it in color, made copies, and sold them on eBay over and over. Had some wrestling tapes, sold those, and ended up buying a Cadillac with that money. Side note, I ended up getting a gun pointed in my face in Las Vegas, and my car ended up being taken away. But that was a little, little side story for another day. But so Las Vegas. But so how did you get started? I think what I remember you hearing was saying you were started doing this with your dad and you were doing sports products. Is that correct?
Yeah, but before I get into that, I gotta know how many tapes did you copy and sell to buy a Cadillac?
Quite a bit, I guess. They were going it was every day, and I had a guy that I lived with, and we were because I mean I had to buy these discs. I think it was, gosh, it was at least 10, if not more. But this was, you know, days when you had little movie clips for it, and it took probably a good hour and a half to burn each one of those discs. So, but that was just going constantly, and it was in my friend's room. So he'd get pretty mad at me for being in there all the time. But it was good, and it was a good way to get me into reselling and just finding ways to. to flip stuff, and I stepped away for some reason, probably after the Cadillac thing, but and then I just stopped doing eBay and I got away for a long time. But then, yeah, once I don't know, maybe like 5, 6 years ago, I got into it again when I was living in Portland. But then I moved and I put everything I had a little two-door Toyota Echo, and everything I had fit in that car. And so I just give away all my stuff. And so then I kind of had to start over again. And so um, that's kind of what happened. But so you started how?
Yeah, I didn't mean to dodge your
Oh,
question. I just had to know
it's
more about the movies you're selling.
hmm,
So I've been reselling for 20 years. I got hooked when I was like 18. My grandma went to a garage sale and bought a piece of furniture, and she needed me to pick it up for with my truck. So I went and got the piece of furniture, and I was working at a sporting goods store at the time. And the garage sale where the piece of furniture was had all kinds of sporting goods. And I'm like, I can just buy these and sell them to my boss and like make some good money. So I bought it all, made like $150, and I was hooked from then on.
that's a good way, especially with it being your boss and you get to go to work. Not only are you going to work with getting the paycheck, you're going to be creating your own paycheck. And at 18, I mean, that's pretty much how old I was. I was 17, 18 right there. And once you realize that you can get a check for working and getting the check for that, it's pretty nice. I mean, I was delivering pizzas for Domino's, and I mean, it's kind of nice when you can, yeah, get that second paycheck. And so, what were selling sporting goods? What were your finds that you were usually going for? Was it usually um, baseball stuff or just kind of whatever?
Yeah, a lot of baseball bats, baseball gloves. I sold a ton of cleats. I can't tell you how many hundred pairs of cleats that I would clean, because I'd buy them, they'd be all dirty and stuff. I'd clean them up and get $5 for them. Golf clubs. I bought a ton of golf clubs, exercise equipment, treadmills. I mean, I didn't shy away from anything. Like if it fit in the truck, I'd buy it, and I'd bring just a huge haul like every Saturday as I was coming into work, and then unload it, and then I'd see them flip it and make their profit. So it was pretty cool. Like I got to buy it at a garage sale, bring it in, flip it to them, make money, and then as I'm working, sell it to the end user, and then my boss got to make money too. So everybody won.
So, were you getting commission at your job then as well, or were you getting paid or on hourly?
I got paid hourly. It wasn't any kind of like sales job. It was just like an hourly job, but they sold used sporting goods, and like they had a hard time finding used sporting goods. So they enjoyed me going out and finding this stuff, because people came
Great.
there for used stuff. So if somebody if they walked out the door without buying something, it's usually because they didn't have something used that they wanted to save the money on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I mean, I bought plenty of stuff from those places, and I remember, um, like, I played lacrosse in high school, and I mean, that stuff was expensive getting that equipment, and like I got hand-me-down stuff from my brother's friend, and it was like still like back they used to have these, they were called bucket helmets before they got the real aerodynamic ones. I had a bucket helmet. I was the only person on the team with one of those, and I had a stick, a wooden stick with the leather, the leather netting before everyone had mesh and these titanium sticks. So it was fun. And then, yeah, then I got to, give that to someone who was able to use it. And then once I got newer stuff, and then, it was the same thing. Like that stuff's expensive. And so it was nice to be able to, have someone else be able to get that after I did. Cause yeah, I wasn't selling my my adult CDs full of fun yet. So I didn't have enough money yet. So I took what I could do, but yeah, so um okay, so the then YouTube. So what got you to do YouTube then? So were you doing this for a while and then you're thinking, wow, I should just strap on a GoPro, or are you doing something before the GoPro? Because I like the GoPro approach that you have, as opposed to, holding the camera. I always feel goofy holding the camera, but having a GoPro, I feel it doesn't seem weird, especially when you're looking for stuff. If you're at a garage sale or if you're at a store and you're flipping through stuff, but you have to hold a camera, that really slows you down. So having the GoPro is a really smart idea.
Yeah, I wish I could say I came up with the idea of wearing a GoPro, but I didn't. I saw Justin RVA Flips. I think he was the first person I saw do a video wearing a GoPro to a garage sale. Because before that, I was holding a GoPro. I had a little GoPro like in my hand, like just holding it down to my side awkwardly filming garage sales. It was not good. Um, so once I strapped it on the backpack, like everything changed. Like I really started to get comfortable with it, and being able to show everything I'm buying, actually having both of my hands to look through stuff, made a big difference. But when I started my channel, I started because I found Pete, the Craigslist hunter.
Oh, okay.
Pete
The
is
guy
the
from
godfather
Chicago?
of the reselling YouTube world. He's had a channel for 7 years now.
Is he the guy from Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I
So I
watched
loved his videos, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I've got a few things that I can offer to this community. So I started making videos, and they were rough, man. Like my old videos are really rough. It took my channel probably 2 years, 2.5 years before it really took shape. I was just kind of filming anything and everything, like seeing what would stick, just kind of showing my process because I had been selling full time for about 2, 3 years at that point, and I had been part time for gosh, like 15 years, something like that. So
it.
I had been reselling for a pretty long time. So I had a lot of knowledge to share with people.
So with that then, so where were you sourcing from when you were over the years? I mean, were you going to garage sales? Were you getting bulk deals? Were you finding, I don't know, random Steve down the street in the alley, stuff falling off the back of his truck? Hopefully not, but sometimes you find those deals. I've, yeah, I found one of those, but that was for me.
Primarily garage sales. I mean, I love garage sales. I've been hitting them hard for a really long time, and you can just find some amazing stuff for really cheap. Thrift stores a little bit here and there. And as my YouTube channel has grown and I've built my network, I get more and more bulk buys all the time. I love doing bulk buys. The ROI isn't as high as garage sales, but you can get a lot of stuff at once. And you're not, running all over town trying to find stuff. You just go to one spot, fill your car, spend $500 or something, and you've got $1,000 with inventory.
I mean, especially when someone knows you and knows what you like and knows what you're after and what you can flip. And I mean, that's nice. Just being able to have that and not having to worry about. I mean, I sold my shop. I took everything I had. I sold it before I moved out of Utah, and the price was more than just how much the product was. I mean, this was 1,000 square foot place. Like they have everything all ready to go. I mean, that took a lot of time, and that's a lot of time that you're saving right there, or that that they were saving. They didn't have to go out and hunt stuff and find all these things. It's just you have it right there. You can get it at a great deal. I mean, that's a great place to be, and good to scoop up on those sorts of deals and just make it make it good, make it awesome. And um, yeah, I mean, not everything in there is going to be a hit, but I mean, you're not having to search for it. And that stuff is easy. Even if you take it back to a Goodwill or whatever it may be, you're still doing all right. You're still coming out on top. So, I mean, yeah, if you're getting those bulk deals and, sometimes but there's one thing that I've learned from you. I mean, you can go and you can you can get over on someone pretty easily with one of those deals, but you can only do that once. Whereas you, you're going in there, you're making sure that they are getting some fair deal. So you can go back there and they're going to remember you. You're not going to be that jerk that, you have your name. You have your name, and your name is what your reputation is. And it's not, hey, there's John, the Cincinnati Picker, the guy that ripped me off. It's like, hey, John, he took care of me. He got everything I needed. I'm gonna look for him now. And as soon as I find this stuff, I'm calling him. He's the guy I'm gonna go to. And I respect. I thought that was really cool. It's a good thing to be doing. Good business practice.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, like I feel like if more people would embrace the idea of the future business that can come to you if you just really treat people with respect, treat their items with respect, and pay as much as you possibly can to still, make an okay profit. Because if you're only worried about making as much as you can on every deal, then you're going to lose out on all the future deals. I just did a bulk buy yesterday from my buddy Luke, who I've known now for like 2 years. He originally reached out to me on a Funko Pop buy like 2 years ago, and I bought them all, paid him a good price. 6 months later, he reached out to me again. I think I bought from him now like 4, 5, maybe 6 times, something like that. Because every time, I treat him fairly, make sure he's happy with the price, and like we keep that relationship going. And it's not just like the money with people. Like a lot of times when people are trying to sell something, there's a reason. Like specifically with Luke, he wants to get his basement back. So he's got so much stuff that he's been finding that it's just kind of hoarded up and he doesn't have the room anymore. And I might not want all of it, but I can help him just to get it out. So I told him, like, hey man, let's just get all of this out of here next time. Fill boxes, I'll take whatever. Just get your basement back, get your space back. And I'm like, we'll figure out a price. Like I probably can't sell it all, but I'll do something. I can donate some of it, whatever. Like you've got to fill a need for people. Like if you're only worried about yourself and like making all that money or whatever, you're just not going to go far. You really want to help people figure out why are they selling? How can I help you? Because usually it's not just the money. They either want to get some space back, or they're trying to go on a vacation or whatever. Like figure out what it is they want and help them reach that goal. And they're going to remember that you did that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had a similar situation with that. I had a guy who needed his he had a whole room. He has a whole bunch of old toys and just trying to get that room back because he hasn't it's completely full. And so yeah, I was like, I'll help you get that as much as I can. And then yeah, I mean it's hard sometimes to not put the person that's walking through the door is not just a big dollar sign. And I mean, they are people. They're everyone, everyone that's buying from you. I mean, you got to be happy people are buying from you. They can go anywhere else, but they're coming to you to buy, and you don't want to be or sell to you. I mean, you don't want to tarnish that. You don't want to screw them over. You don't. It's so easy to just go for that quick instant gratification, but yeah, you get that one time and they're going to tell their friends. Their friends are going to tell their friends, and you're going to have one great sale and then you're done. You're done. And so, yeah, it's good you're doing that. And yeah, being able to help him out and get everything, yeah, moved for him. And um, yeah, I mean, if he'll probably have more stuff. I mean, if he's got that, there'll probably be something. He obviously likes buying things, so it'll be good. And yeah, if someone maybe the guy who bought my shop knew that I wanted to move, and so I mean, I only had one person there. I had two people come to me that were interested in buying it, and only one person gave me an offer. And so I mean, I got lucky. I could have been sitting there spinning my wheels, but Um, I mean, I told that guy I would help him. I would get him his, I'd help him get a sign for a shop. I'd help him advertise. I told him I can, like, I've made commercials. They're not always the best, but I mean they're entertaining. And I told him I'd make him a commercial. I'd help him with stuff to get it going. But I mean, he didn't really hit me up on it before. But yeah, it's about if someone's into that, it's good to be able to help and help back. And because yeah, you never know. I mean, it's easy to be in that other position. It's easy to be in a place where you need to get rid of stuff. I need to get rid of stuff. Oh, maybe I want to go on a vacation. I want to, like you're saying, something like that, and I need some money, and who to hit up, and you know who you want to stay away from. Because I've definitely bought stuff from people who have straight up, you know, done horrible deals with me and known it. And what can you do? And I've had people on eBay that if I was talking with a guy, I'm looking at buying a car here, and I was talking about a guy. There's a thing with eBay that's pretty messed up. So if someone, I don't know if you've experienced this before, but if someone wants to really kind of get one over on you, what they can do is they can, instead of contacting PayPal or eBay after they get their item, they contact their bank. And with that, eBay and PayPal are not allowed to give you any information and basically have their hands tied the whole time. I've had one person, maybe two people do this to me. And, I tried and tried and called them eBay, PayPal forever. And it's like, well, we can't do anything. It's the bank and it's private information. And so, I mean, I learned a lesson there. And so I was talking about this with this guy I was buying it, the car I'm buying this car from because he wants to have, he wants me to buy it in cash. And my money is like, he doesn't want me to pay him with Venmo or with, a check or a card or anything like that. So I have a credit union that's back in Oregon. And so I can only take out so much a day. So he's been working with me, but it's the whole thing about trusting each other and working together and knowing that we're both not, trying to, I guess, screw the other person over just for one quick sale because him and I both, he's sells a bunch of cars all the time and he has his name and that's important. And I told him, I'm the same way. No one knows me here, but I have that. And then, I have my name for my hypnosis practice. I don't want to be screwing anyone over. Even if I didn't have a name for it, I still wouldn't want to just because it's going to come back to you. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had, where I'm able to help someone out and then a couple days later, I end up with something killer. And I, I don't know, sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes it's not trying to get that, but just maybe weird coincidence. But it's kind of been nice that way. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with you. I think what you put out into the universe definitely comes back to you. So be careful with what you put out there. If you put out bad vibes and you're screwing people over, it's gonna come back to you. Guaranteed.
yeah, yeah, real quick. Um, so let's see. Uh, so another thing with your channel. So when you did a one with your first video with Mojo Catcher, and then when I saw them, I started watching them too because of you, and I enjoy that. I enjoy watching your guys's interactions. It's always it's an interesting dynamic, and it's fun to watch. And I was wondering how you two, or not you two, but you and their crew kind of got together, how that happened.
They reached out to me on Instagram. I think it's been maybe like 2 years now, maybe longer than that. It's been a while that I've known them. And Josh loves to buy everything. I mean, obviously, vintage clothing is his niche, but he buys everything. He buys video games, collectibles, like stuffed animals, anything 80s and 90s. It doesn't matter what it is, he'll buy it. And he's
Yeah.
got a really good eye, but he primarily just sells the clothing. The other stuff he just kind of collects or, just kind of builds up type thing. But yeah, I've bought from Josh now close to 10 times, I think. And I've sold to him at least 5 or 6 times. Where like if I get a bunch of vintage t-shirts and I don't want to mess with them on eBay, I'll just do one, bulk price to him because like that's his wheelhouse type thing. And I'm always looking out for stuff that he likes. He's got some artwork, posters and different things that I've found. Like he'll watch my video and be like, "Hey, I want that." I'm like, "Yeah, I figured you did." Like I've already set it aside. There's a lot of things I see. I'm like, Josh would buy this for sure. So I just pick it up. I'm like, if you want it, it's yours type deal. So we look out for each other. Like that's just one of many relationships that I've been really fortunate to have and to really care for and just treat them right every time they treat me right. And we keep the business going.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. And like yeah, you're saying like with there I think it what's that guy's name? Um I always forget it. Keith Haring. You had some Keith Haring stuff. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they
it
were
was a Keith Haring
posters.
poster. Yep.
And I was like, okay, I know exactly that's right. That's for Josh right there. Nope. And you just you grabbed it and that was okay. I'm like, yep, I know exactly where that one was going as soon as you got that. But I mean, so yeah, the clothes, like, I mean, it's good to have someone who knows something about clothes because, like myself, like I was selling clothes, but I don't know much about clothes. I'm a guy who wears, I don't know, most of the time I'm wearing, you know, Zubas. Do you know Zubas? You remember those? They were
Mm,
like, so back in the like early 90s, like a bunch of football players and they're sort of like they sort of look like this, but they're all like super bright colors and they look like they're like sweatpants type things. A lot of
gotcha.
I don't know if I can explain that better, but
Zubas.
um
I'll have to research it.
yeah. So they kind of made a resurgence in the last few years, but it was made by some guys in some wrestlers in the uh like early 90s and up in Minnesota. And yeah, the Road Warriors or Legion of Doom. I don't know if you were into wrestling at all, but so they started that, and so I don't know where I was going. So I wear those sometimes, or sweatpants and a sweatshirt, or else, and Crocs and all year round. I mean, I'm not Mr. Fancy clothing, but I mean, I've definitely bought some stuff from them, and yeah, they had those. They were doing well. Okay, I think I don't know where they. I don't think they got these, but they had someone. They ended up with a whole bunch of heat transfers that they got. They got for T-shirts and stuff, and so they were making all these shirts, and I definitely got some of those, but I mean, I only wear them when I'm going out to want to be fancy for the night or something. But yeah, it's good to have people who know stuff about clothes. 'Cause, yeah, I don't. And it's always good. There's always someone who knows something more than you do about there's so many different parts to reselling. There's always someone who's going to know more, and good to have someone like you got what's that, the Pawn Stars show. I mean, it's, I don't know how real it is, but you always got the guy that's like, okay, hey, let me call up so and so. He's an expert in this, and bring him by. Give him a little bit of some sort of kickback, I assume. But I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it just to have to know everybody that can do something. Eventually, you might know more about everything, but I mean, we all start with what we know. Like you started with clothes and or not clothes, I'm sorry. You started with sporting goods and I started with adult material and wrestling tapes. And go with what you know. And so but yeah, then I mean, let's see. So another thing, so the okay, so one thing I found out was my biggest expense for everything uh, besides having a shop. My biggest expense ended up being packaging by far. I was selling a bunch of really big stuff, especially once COVID hit. Um, I was the TV VCR combos were just going all the time. Those and uh, the rock band Guitar Hero things for some reason made a resurgence, and so I was, you know, sending out these big boxes, but I was paying a lot for that. That was just eating in all my profits going to Menards or whatnot and picking up stuff. But yeah, I mean, eventually I learned that, you know, you go to the dumpsters and you can get some good stuff. And I mean, those are free. Those are saving me money. And it was great. The place I was living in Minneapolis, we had a underground garage and all the dumpsters were in there. So I would just, you know, I wouldn't even have to leave my place to go get any sort of box. And you taught me about the box resizer tool, which was a huge help. Making the Franken boxes, as you say, was was pretty helpful for some of that stuff. And I mean, those were great. One place that I found for packaging material, this is a special for anyone who's listening to this podcast. But one, this is the rusty secret. I found a art dealership, an art gallery. And art galleries, they have people sending them stuff all the time to put up. And that stuff you better believe is packaged in some great bubble wrap and stuff of that nature. So I got buddy buddy with the art gallery and they'd give me garbage bags full of great packaging material for free. They're just trying to get rid of it. Someone um, you know, posted it on Facebook or Craigslist and so I would just get that and that was I mean, that saved me so much money just getting that, and it was all good. I mean, it was used, but I mean, only used once. This wasn't. It wasn't. Didn't have you know old soda on it or something, or you know something else that's gross. But as I'm drinking this, this is a birch beer. It's uh, I've never tried these before. Have you had this before? It's like sort of like a root
Hmm.
beer. But yeah, I guess they're popular out here in New England, these birch beers, but it's like from a birch tree as opposed to a root, wherever those are. But yeah, so
Interesting.
yeah, but so that's my secret. I was just gonna tell you, but I figure I'm on here, so I'll tell everyone. So, but that's been a huge help. So if anyone's listening and you need packaging, get hooked up with an art gallery. There's art galleries all over, and free is a very good price.
Art gallery. I would have never thought about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
And they have
And
boxes
yeah, I
too.
mean, it's amazing. Like if you just ask for what you're looking for, like people want to help. You know what I mean? And people want to extend the life of things. Like if instead of it going to the trash, like it's getting another life, getting packed up for something else, you know?
Yeah,
And if we continue to do that, we can really reduce emissions and just prolong the life of this earth as much as we can recycle, you know, for sure. But like I know a lot of people have a problem with dumpster diving or think it's gross or whatever, but the boxes are all in cardboard dumpsters. They have cardboard specific dumpsters that are for recycling. So anytime I get my boxes, it's a whole big dumpster of boxes. There's no food, there's no gross stuff. So they're always clean. And if I find any that are just totally beat, they're done. It's
Yeah.
like it's not gonna hold anything. So I just leave it. I just try to keep the ones that are in good shape. But yeah, you can get so many boxes for free because they're not cheap. If you go to,
No.
like you were saying, Menards, $4 or $5 for bigger boxes, it's crazy. Like I'm not paying that.
Yeah, there's no need. And I mean, yeah, there's people just can't wait to get rid of them. I mean, you find them on Facebook Marketplace. People always looking to get rid of moving boxes. Someone always just moved. And then plus with Amazon, I mean, Amazon, it can't, I mean, you got boxes for forever. I mean, everyone's just has tons and tons, not everyone, but there's a lot of people with a lot of boxes who are just trying to get rid of them that don't want to pay their to have it recycled. I mean, you're recycling them, you're taking them off their hands, you're helping them, they're helping you. It's a pretty all right deal. It's not too shabby, but there's something I was gonna say off of that with um, so okay. With the let's talk. So okay, um, let's talk. We're already talking, but so your wife is part of it's called um shoot, the nonprofit is shoot. Will you help me out with the name here with it?
The money she raises for foster care.
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking about One Simple Wish
Uh, yeah, I think so. And then
or
what's the name of her channel?
Be the Village.
Be the Village. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
But so and so you are you're a foster parent as well. So and a parent. It's a parent. That you that's a old Mad Magazine joke. But so how'd you get into that? How'd you get into being a foster parent? How'd that come about? I think that's way cool.
It was interesting actually because even when we were dating, we had pretty much decided that we wanted to be foster parents, like even before we had our own kids. I grew up, some of my cousins didn't have great, you know, household situations. Ended up living with grandparents, and then Whitney's aunt always had foster kids, so she was aware of it and aware of the need. Um, so yeah, after we got married and had our first, we got licensed as foster parents, and we've had I think about a dozen kids with us over the years. I think it's been what, like I think it's almost 4 years that we've been foster parents now. It's crazy. Time flies.
Yeah, and so I mean, so some of them are getting older now. I mean they're all getting older, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, you get to be there with, some kids that wouldn't have the same experience had you not been there. So, I mean, that's cool. And then there's always going to be that need, and there's not nearly enough people like you who will do that. And I mean, it's again, it's everyone's a winner in that one. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's cool that I get to see them come with you on some of the picks and watching you teaching them how to negotiate um I mean, like, I remember my parents always kind of taught me to, like, anytime there's a kid doing, selling something, whether it's, a lemonade stand or have some sort of, I don't know, maybe they're selling comic books or probably whatever pogs or or whatever, to always make sure I would go up you know, buy something from them and make sure that they're getting to do the. I mean, it's good to learn about the, you know, how to work as a business as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, like I've been working since I was 10. I was, when I was 10, I was delivering uh well, okay. I'm making this sound like this was my resume. So I was putting flyers on doorsteps and for a decorator whose last name was Klutz, which was always funny to me. So
Oh my God, that's great.
yeah,
Was
so
his first name Roger?
it should have been. It should have
You
been.
know, was it Doug? Is it the Doug show? Was Roger
Oh yeah,
Klotz
Roger
or Doug?
Klotz. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I was Roger Klotz with the hey funny. I do terrible impressions if you guys want to hang
No,
around
that's
for
good.
at the after show, but um yeah, Roger Klotz. But yeah, he so yeah, I mean I was doing that and I mean yeah, I always had to work for what I did, which I guess is good. I mean, I grew up in an area where there were a lot of kids who didn't have to do anything, and you know, I'm happy that my parents made me made me work. And at the time, I was, you know, like, hey, look over here, Billy doesn't have to do anything, and his parents bought him a Ferrari or whatever. And but then I learned like, okay, that was really stupid, you know. But yeah, I mean, it was, you know, it's just always good to learn and always good to be out hustling, and I like that. Uh, so another thing I want to talk about, we're talking about Cincinnati. It was something I wanted to bring up. So as you can tell, if you're watching this maybe on Spotify or YouTube or if you watch John otherwise, you can tell that he's a Cincinnati Reds fan. And so yeah, that's quite a collection there, and I like seeing that. I'm jealous of it. It's pretty cool. You got a lot there, and so so I mean, you go to games. Um, I don't. So I mean, how often are you going to games? You go into like maybe like five a year or so, something like that, or maybe a
Usually
little
between
more,
5 and 10.
5 and
Yeah, it
10.
just depends. COVID year was rough on me. Oh my God, that was a rough year. We go out to Arizona too. So we've been out to Arizona 3 times for spring training, and we love that. That's so much fun. We
It's
actually went in 2020, and
oh oh that was right
we
when that happened.
we got to go to one game, and then like the day we left, they shut down MLB completely, and they shut it
Whoa.
down for I think it took them 3 months before they even got it back up and running again.
So what did you do when you were there, and were you in like surprise or what was
We
well
were in Goodyear.
in Goodyear? Okay, yeah, I was trying to
Yeah, so
remember
Goodyear
the
is where the Guardians and the Reds do spring training. So we
yeah.
would go to the practices in the morning and then watch the game in the afternoon, and then hike and just see all of Arizona. And Arizona's beautiful. Every time we go someplace different, like a little road trip.
Yeah.
So we drove to Grand Canyon one year. One year we did the Painted Desert, and then this last time in 2020 we drove out to Sedona, and that was my first
Oh,
time seeing Sedona. Gorgeous. Oh man, it's
yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, that desert and high desert down there is amazing. I yeah, I mean it was hard uh, leaving that area. I mean like Utah and Arizona are both just so even Nevada too. I mean they're all just beautiful. But yeah, it's great. And spring training, it's I mean going to an MLB park versus going to spring training. I mean they're apples and oranges, and those spring training games are a blast. You're like getting to see your favorite players basically playing on maybe a little bigger than a high school field. And you're right there, and you're in March, and you're probably wearing a t-shirt, and that's not something you get to do too often. I remember that was pretty cool. I went down there in, I think, 2005 or something. I saw the Cubs and someone else down there, but I mean, I'm a Reds fan, so um, I think my brother and my mom went down there recently, but there they serve Cincinnati chili at the spring training games even. Is that correct?
I don't remember if they do or not. That's a good question. I don't remember seeing any kind of Cincinnati chili or Skyline chili at the games. I'm not sure that they have it there because that facility they share it with Cleveland. So
Okay.
there's not a lot of Cincinnati specific stuff.
Yeah.
But the
I,
games are so much fun. It only holds like 5,000 fans and it's usually like half full if that. So it's a really intimate setting. You're just so much closer to the game and like I've had so many foul balls and home run balls go by me. I almost caught a Jose Garcia ball last time we went, and the dude just drilled it. It's really, really cool. I have so many great memories of spring training. If as a Reds fan, you know Marty Brennaman, I'm sure, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so Marty Brennaman, when we went 2014, um, he was just walking around the stadium one day, just chilling. Was like, "Hey, Marty," and we didn't like try to stop him. Like it was just in passing, and he stopped and was like, "Hey, like where are you from?" Like started talking to us, and everything. Just super, super nice guy. There's
Well,
so many different experiences you get there that you're just not going to get if you go to a normal game. Like we went to one um practice, and this is when Walt Jocketty was the GM. I want to say it was like 2012, and I had seen on Twitter or something that morning that like Juan Francisco had been dropped by the Reds. So we get there and Walt's there. I was like, "What happened to Francisco?" And he said he showed up fat, so we shipped his ass out of town. I was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing. All these little nuggets that like he doesn't have a camera in his face, he's just gonna go off the cuff and say whatever he wants." Like I have so many memories like that of spring training. It's great.
yeah, and I mean, you can't get experience like that at the game, and they're gonna be minding their P's and Q's a lot more at the ballpark.
Right,
Um,
right.
Speaking of minding their P's and Q's at the ballpark, did you go to Riverfront Stadium when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So okay, so you remember what was it? Was it Shotzi, the
Oh
the
yeah, the dog.
the dog? I was pretty. I mean that whole that's a whole different podcast for that one.
Right, yeah, we could be talking about March Shot for an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah. And but I mean it was always cool. I always thought it was cool seeing the dog out on the field, the big what are those dogs called with the just the
St.
huge
Bernard.
Saint Bernard, yeah, yeah, with
Yeah,
the always have the bottle or the cask or whatever around
yeah.
their neck. But yeah, it was always cool seeing that. And I mean, yeah, Riverfront was it's a cool stadium. I haven't been to the new park yet though, but um, I mean it's been years since. I mean, Riverfront. I mean, that's I don't even know when that closed down. Maybe like 20 years ago.
You're pretty much right on the nose. I think they tore it down 2002 or 2003 because I know the current stadium was their like opening day was 2003. And at the
Oh, okay.
time, I think they called it Synergy. I don't think it's been called Great American from the start.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Something
Yeah, I
like
think it was like
Synergy.
Synergy Field for a bit
Yeah, like
before it changed.
Cinergy. Is that right? Or no,
Yeah,
no. Yeah, because it's Cincinnati.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I'm
could be
trying to remember
making
what year
that
it
up.
became Great American. But yeah, it's a great ballpark. I love it. It's a lot of fun to go to. They have so many fan accommodations. It's crazy.
So then, okay, so back to the Cincinnati chili. So you got Cincinnati chili, the Skyline chili there, and and then I saw Whitney with the chili dog with a piece of pizza around it, I believe.
Yeah.
I saw something with
Oh
that,
my
and that blew
God.
my
So this is
mind.
like it was some kind of TikTok or something that somebody in Cincinnati decided to do. So Cincinnati's known for Skyline Chili and La Rosa's Pizza. So somebody took a slice of La Rosa's pizza and a Skyline chili cheese coney, which is essentially a hot dog with chili and cheese.
A lot
And
of
they
cheese.
wrapped the pizza around the cheese coney and ate it like that. It sounds disgusting, but it was actually pretty delicious. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I like that combination, and I've been wanting to give that a whirl, and yeah, I like it. I hope someone more people try that out. But and Cincinnati chili is something that yeah, it's hard to convince people if you're not from Cincinnati what it is and what it looks like. But so what are you? How do you eat yours? Are you a three-way, four-way, five-way? Are you a Coney guy, or what's your?
Yep, three-way. I love the conies. I always get the hot, like spicy cheese with it. Yeah, I love
Oh,
Skyline.
I,
There's if you guys are ever in Cincinnati, there's one called Camp Washington Chili. They only have one, and it's located kind of near downtown. But it's been there for like 75, 80 years, and it's delicious. I think it's better than Skyline personally.
and then there's Blue Ash and Gold Star
Blue Ash
too.
Chili is really good. Yeah, Blue Ash Chili
Yeah.
was on diners, drive-ins, and dives or something.
Oh yeah.
That's Blue Ash
With
Chili is very, very good. There's
yeah,
only I think two of them. There was only one of them, but they made another one. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I think that might have closed down. So they might just still have the one now.
yeah,
There's Gold Star. My wife likes Gold Star more than Skyline, which is surprising. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of different chili places for sure, and it came from the Greeks. So there was a bunch of a large population of Greeks in Cincinnati, um, like
yeah,
100 plus years ago. So that's where that from is all the chilies from.
yeah. So there's these things. They have these little pouches of uh I don't know. It's like so it's like Indian food. There's little pouches of Indian food. You can get them at Costco. And there's one that's Madras lentil. And it tastes just like Cincinnati chili, and it's the weirdest thing. And I don't know if they got inspired by that one, but it's very, very close. Like I could take that and I could put that on, put it on. It doesn't have the same consistency, but I could put that on a coney and be all right. And yeah, that was a weird thing to experience. I tried. I'm like, oh, this tastes just like Cincinnati chili. And then, of course, everyone I'm with, what's Cincinnati chili? And well, it's this stuff that doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, but it's like
It doesn't look great.
it doesn't look
It's
great.
it's really more like a sauce than it is a chili.
Yeah, yeah. If you tell people it's chili, they're not gonna. It's not. They're like,
Yeah,
okay, oh, that's not chili. It's more like, yeah, it's more like a sauce, like a brown tomato sauce of
yeah.
sorts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like you can't really eat it on its own. You know what I mean? So if
yeah,
I feel like that's the good divider. Like if it can't be eaten on its own, then it's not really a chili. It's just it's a sauce or some kind of topping or something. But yeah, it's cool. But they put it on everything. I mean, they do potatoes, they do burritos, you name it. They put that chili and stuff.
yeah. I saw that, and I almost did that this last, or I don't know, a week or two ago. I was so tempted to try that, and I didn't. I got the two conies, but I saw the burrito, and I was so close to pulling the trigger, but I have a feeling I'll be getting some chili again sometime soon. I don't know. It's hard to stay away from the Midwest. I like it there. It's cool. It's nice out there, and yeah, I miss living out there. But yeah, what can you do? You move around, and new stuff, new days. But um,
You got to come visit, man.
Yeah, I'm
Go to
hoping,
Reds
hoping
game.
I would love that. I would love to go to a Reds game or yeah. I'd be all about that just to yeah, get out there and see the new field and yeah, I it's been too long. I went last time I went there was 1993 to the to a Reds game. So
Wow. Yeah,
that
you
would
got
be
to see
way
the new
fun.
ballpark for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird like seeing some of those ones because like that one and the Kingdom in Seattle was another one that I went to like yeah that one's gone and then yeah I went to that new park. I mean that's not a new park anymore. That's 20 years old too. But time flies. Whatever. Things go, and all of a sudden it's 20 years later. But it's good. We've learned a lot and grown a lot and moved forward. So it's cool. But so John, where can people find you? What do you want to tell people? I'm just throwing this up just for you. You got the floor. You can say whatever. You can go wherever. Anything flies.
Yeah, my YouTube channel is called Cincinnati Picker. That's the same as my Instagram too. It's just one word, Cincinnati Picker. You can find me on there, and I post everything from stuff I find at garage sales, stuff I sell on eBay, and rescuing Ricky the raccoon from my dumpster every day.
Oh,
That's what I
yeah.
put on Instagram.
I was gonna ask about the raccoon. So yeah, he's back all the time. He knows he's got it good when you're around. And he knows he's
Yeah,
got that ladder to get out too. So
yeah. He and I have gotten pretty close. He just knows me now. Like he used to kind of be skittish and afraid, and he didn't want to come out. But now, like he just pops right out. The other day, he popped out, ate the bowl of grapes that I had out for him, and then like popped a grape in his mouth and went back down the ladder. I'm like, I
whoa.
guess this is just your house now, man. You do
Yeah.
your thing. I'll be in there working.
Yeah. Just gonna knock on the top of the lid next time and yeah, give him his lunch and have him come back. That's pretty cool. That's a good friend right there to have. And yeah, so thank you for being here and doing this show. And I'm gonna throw it up on all over. I'll send you send you links and stuff. And yeah, so that's that's it. That's where we're gonna go. That's where it ended. That's it. That's it. So thank you, John. And that's the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Rusty. This was fun, man.
Yeah, you bet, John.